Hey everybody, it's Dan Sfera, www.theclinicaltrialsguru.com. Once again, that website address is www.theclinicaltrialsguru.com. The best place on the internet for all clinical trials content and information, whether you're a study participant, a research professional, or someone just interested in learning more about clinical trials. You've come to the right place. And by the way, we love interacting with our viewers, and however you want to get a hold of us through Facebook or Twitter or, email, whatever way you prefer. Ask us a question and we'll try to answer it. And if it's not myself or Don who are qualified enough to answer it, we'll find a guru for you. Same thing we do on our sister blog, The Psych Guru. So just let us know. The other day I got a question from a guy. He said, please post some your opinion of the job market in 2011 for clinical research, and what should someone do in this year if you're a job seeker. And this person's a young guy, probably recently graduated from college. My advice to you, well, first of all, before I get into advice, let me just say these last 2 years, like let's say the middle to end of '09 and then all of 2010, was pretty slow in clinical trials. You saw the drug companies kind of slowing down on a lot of their clinical trials that they were doing. Whereas before, like in '07 and '06, they may have been doing like many more times as many clinical trials as they did in '09 and 2010. The good news is we're here in the January of 2011, and I'm starting to see a whole lot of new studies coming out, a whole lot of studies being initiated. Although the studies are more complex than they've ever been, the drug companies and CROs are requesting a lot more than they ever have from the research sites. So if you're getting ready to look for a job in this industry, be ready to work. And it's definitely not going to be the same as it used to be. And that's whether you're a study coordinator, a monitor, a doctor, whatever it is that you do, be ready to work. It's definitely not the same. The drug companies are asking for a lot more from the research sites, and the research sites need to be prepared to deliver, or else, like I've said in my other post about supply and demand, another research site will just step in and do what they want. So, but the good news is for 2011, it does look pretty optimistic for clinical research. There are a lot of new studies coming out, much more than we've seen in 2010 for sure. So it may be one sign that this particular industry is going to be getting a little bit better. Now, it may be harder for you to get a job. There may not be any CROs or research sites hiring. So what do you do in that case? And in the case of this person who asked the question, he's relatively young, and I recommend that you intern. You don't want to have a gap in your resume between when you graduated from school and when you work. You want to at least put that you interned. So even if it's volunteer work, you got to do it. And volunteer work is very, very, very underrated. Try to volunteer with a CRO or with a research clinic. Actually, South Coast Clinical Trials, we're in the process of signing up 2 interns for some of our sites. And they're going to be volunteers. These are pre-med students that are looking for clinical trial experience before they can become either doctors, or some of them want to become CRAs or monitors. So I recommend you intern for a site in your area. And if you can, intern with a CRO, but for what I understand, I think you need to intern with a research clinic and work your way up to the CRO level at some point. Maybe they'll actually hire you at some point. But definitely 2011, we have a lot of reason to believe it's very optimistic. I personally am very optimistic for 2011. I see a lot of studies initiating. I don't see the budgets the way they used to be, meaning the research clinics are not getting paid what they once were. But as far as new studies initiating, they definitely are. It's not going to be like 2010. There's definitely a lot more opportunities coming out there. It's just more supply, meaning there's a lot of more research clinics out there that are competing for these same trials. But there are a lot of trials coming out this year as compared to 2010 and even 2009. Hopefully this helps, but definitely look to intern, because There may be a hiring freeze at many places. They may not be hiring any people, but they definitely could look for interns. They may be looking for volunteers. So just get involved, get your feet wet, and then at some point you'll eventually get hired. Hope this helps. Please let me know if you have any more questions. It's theclinicaltrialsguru.com. Thanks a lot.